And we have Jonathan King, who's the VP of Legal Affairs at TCL North America. And we see that Jonathan, he is also involved in the throughput and recycling programs in the United States. And we see Mr. King establish TCL's electronics recycling initiatives and is the architect of the company's above, the above and beyond sustainability policies that includes implementing a 50-state recycling solution for TCL TV owners. So, Mr. King, you have the floor. Please let us know how you feel about this.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. First, I think it's important to talk just a little bit about TCL. A lot of people probably aren't aware of exactly what the brand is. It's only been in the United States for the last 7 or 8 years. And particularly, it's grown a lot more over the last 4 or 5 years. A brief description, TCL is the 3rd largest TV brand in the United States now. We've grown about 100 and some percent year over year, every year since 2014. We sell multiple different screen sizes. We sell in all the major retailers. We sell screen sizes as small as the 28-inch size small gherkin-like screens all the way up to the 75 giant size screens. And it's important to note that we're a fully integrated manufacturer. We make everything. There are many brands out there that are that contract manufacture with companies such as us. There are many brands that just make some of the parts of their products. We're actually a fully vertically integrated manufacturer. We make everything in the product. We're also the fastest growing TV brand in America since 2014, taking a lot of market share from a lot of different companies, and we've significantly grown. I think it's important today to talk about why we're here. When you do that, you can't escape the TCL Cares Program. When we got together as a company, the employees decided that we would stand for something more than just being a TV manufacturer. We wanted to be something better than that. So we created what we call the TCL Cares Program. There are 4 pillars to the TCL Cares Program. The 4th, though, is the most important for today. TCL cares for our environment. We have an obligation to minimize our footprint on the planet our users and our employees call home. We take that to heart. You see here a photo of the management team. We are constantly doing things to better the planet, so to speak, and that's why we feel that it's important for us to be a part of the conversation. We're not just going to treat EPR programs as as an expense line. We want to be included in the conversation. We want to be involved in the solutions. We want to be a part of what's going on in the community. So, I think it's also important that everyone understand the role of the manufacturer as we go through this. Manufacturers are not just the funding mechanism of an EPR program. We also provide a lot of data to create program goals. We also develop and implement recycling plans. We also are the ones who are held accountable. When states come up with analyses, as we've seen today, often you see the manufacturer as a line on that analysis. We're the ones who are typically held accountable for shortfalls. We're the ones typically held accountable for decreases in funding, decreases in availability for consumers. Can everyone hear me now? And we feel that it's important for everyone to understand that. We're not just going to treat these situations as, I just think it's important to note that we are the ones held accountable. TCL is not going to be the company that just hides behind that. We want to show up, we want to be in front of everyone, we want to be a part of that conversation since we're the ones held accountable. I need 3 arms. Ooh, could you do that? That'd be great, thank you. Okay, so I think it's important now to talk about the different types of state programs. We kind of divide them up into 3 different types of programs. One we call a state program with manufacturer choice, one we call a state EPR program that's non-competitive, and one we refer to as voluntary programs. The state EPR programs with manufacturer choice offer competition to enable competitive pricing. They enable our above and beyond participation, which I'll get into in a little bit. And they're the ones such as Wisconsin, Minnesota. These are states that enable us to participate and then do more than just the stated goals. By doing that, we're actually able to negotiate directly with recyclers. We're able to make sure that recyclers are accredited. We're able to audit them. We're able to really understand what it is we're getting into and have some sort of control over that. When you get into non-competitive state-run EPR programs, ones that dictate how the program is going to be run and tell you basically where to send your check, you're dealing with higher prices, almost exclusively. You're dealing with fewer choices. And in many cases, although I should say not all, because as we know, there are 20-some programs, and 20-some programs are all different in their own way. But there's less assurance of accreditation. But at the end of the day, what we feel is if we're not involved in the process, if we don't have the ability to oversee what's going on in the process, if we don't have the ability to lend some insight into speaking with the state agencies, into understanding who we're working with the processors and with the recyclers, then we feel that we're just going to be paying higher prices for accomplishing less. So we're definitely in favor more of the state EPR programs with manufacturer choice. And then you get into the voluntary programs. The voluntary programs are the programs that TCL runs in states that don't have the EPR set up. So we feel that it's important to get involved and accomplish, or rather create solutions for customers of TCL products and other electronics in states that don't have EPR laws. Unfortunately, there's a lot of states that have landfill bans, but no solid way for people to actually go and recycle the products, and definitely no EPR program to support it. So increasingly, TCL is getting more and more involved in creating solutions for that. And this has led to what we call the Above and Beyond program. TCL believes that EPR compliance is just the first step, that we also want to go and take an additional step. So the baseline of that is full compliance. TCL is fully compliant in all the programs. Then the next step is we sit down with a lot of state agencies and we try to determine what are your needs. Amanda spoke earlier about the shortfall, the difference between the amount of pounds that were being recycled and the amount of pounds that were being paid for, and then the monetary shortfall that came in there. That was an example of one where we sat down and said, what do you need? And we came up with solutions. So TCL, in many states, we go above and beyond, and we recycle far more than what the goal is. In some states, we've doubled our goal. In some states, we about 1.5 times the goal. It's always different depending on what the need is, but TCL feels that it's important to actually go in there and try to help the state agency accomplish what the program was originally designed to do. We're not into just paying the money in there and then watching these shortfalls occur. We're trying to be a part of the solution. In addition, we're setting up programs in a lot of other states, the voluntary programs, where there are no EPR laws, and that is basically on track with our goal by the end of 2020 to have a 50-state recycling solution in place for TCL TV owners. Exactly how it's going to look, exactly what it's going to be in terms of its convenience is still being modeled, but for the last couple of years, we've been creating programs in different states, and by the end of 2020, we are going to have a solution in place in every state throughout the United States. Thank you. TCL, the slide on the right will show you, when we started out, As you know, when you are in an EPR program, the data that's collected and used to determine manufacturer goals is generally a year or two behind where you are. So if you're selling product in 2014, you're generally you have a goal based on 2012 or 2013. Since we started our massive growth, we have essentially doubled our recycling year over year. From 2016, 17, 18, this year we're going to hit 14 million pounds. Next year we're going to be doubling it again. Now, some of that is based on EPR, but a lot of it is going to be based on voluntary. So a lot of these pounds that you're going to be seeing is going to be TCL going above and beyond and recycling electronics, not because we have to, but because we want to. I thought I'd point out a few recent trends that manufacturers are seeing from a manufacturer perspective. State agencies increasingly have, we feel, been seeking increased manufacturer participation and contribution. I think that's only natural. We've been okay with that. We've gotten involved in it. You're also seeing a shift from per pound targets to convenience standards. Illinois has been talked about a lot during this conference, and that's an example of that. New Jersey is a little bit too. It's the idea being, if you're going to establish a goal, that's fine, but that may leave certain people out. Convenience standards, 365 days a year, people can recycle whatever they want. Whatever that ends up being, somehow the bill is going to be paid. We're definitely seeing a lot of conversations about that. The one thing that I would caution is that Illinois, a lot of people are looking at Illinois right now and saying, it looks great. It looks fantastic. Manufacturers are taking over a lot of the administrative work. We formed this ERO. I guess the only thing I would just comment on there is it hasn't even happened yet. 2019 is going to be the first year. Nobody really knows how this is going to go. For all those states and state agencies that are looking at this and thinking that this is a fantastic model, it may be. I think there's a lot of questions to be answered at this point, and I think the jury's still out. I think everyone needs to wait until the end of 2019, or really maybe even 2020, before we can really truly have a grasp on how that's going to go. I thought also I'd address a few manufacturer myths while I was up here. A lot of times over the years I'll walk around this conference and I hear things about manufacturers, and I just thought it'd be interesting to point out what the actual real manufacturer point of view on these is. The first was that a lot of people say state EPR programs have caused, or at least they thought when they were designed that they would, cause manufacturers to build greener products. A lot of people can point to CRTs and see that shift to then LCDs with CCFL bulbs and then the shift to LED. And yes, it's been a much greener shift. It was a technological change. These were technological updates. The catalyst behind it was not the EPR programs or the drive for greener products in the most part, as much as it was really just technology. And frankly, better technology, more efficient technology, and yeah, greener technology. Sometimes I hear this one, that state EPR programs drove manufacturers to lightweight their products, like the TVs. TVs account for such a big part of the waste stream when it comes to e-waste, and we pay for such a large amount of it that when you take a look at the average weight of a TV several years ago and you look at the average weight now, it's definitely come down. Unfortunately, it was not because of EPR programs. It was because, once again, of technology. It was because TVs got thinner. It was because a lot of TVs eliminated the base and went with legs. You can look to a lot of the reasons, but the EPR programs were not the primary driver of that. And then probably the biggest myth, and that's that no matter what the cost is that's put on the manufacturer for these programs, it really doesn't matter because consumers will pay for it anyway at the register. I'll be the first one here to tell you that that's not true. I am sure there are products out there that can tack on, or companies that can tack on money to their products and do that. We're not one of them. We're selling a commodity product. The margins are thin. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of issues with retailers and other things, but I'll tell you right now, we do not just make up the money as we go along with consumers. When these costs go up, these are our costs, and we are the ones that eat it. And then I thought one last slide would be, what would happen in a perfect world? In a perfect world, well, we'd have one common EPR program throughout the United States. That would be a perfect world. We'd have participation by manufacturers, consumers, states, counties, retailers. Everybody would have something involved in there. I know that there's going to be a switch from per pound goals and targets to a new methodology. I think we all are aware of that. What that's going to be and how that's going to go, we'll figure it out as we go along. But I think the per pound goals are pretty much hated by everybody. So in a perfect world, we'd get rid of those. And I guess lastly, I'd say I would really like state agencies and others involved in this to empower manufacturers to become more involved. If we had a bit more decision-making capability and our ability to get more involved and make decisions, I think we'd all learn that we have some good things to offer. And that if we all came together as a group, we could all solve the problems that we have. So, if anyone has any questions about TCL, please visit our website, shameless plug, and thank you very much.